is Allison and I'm here with the Baby Lock Meridian. The Meridian is an embroidery-only machine that has some of the most easy-to-use features. It's one step down from the top-of-the-line Baby Lock embroidery machine, the Solaris, but it is embroidery only. So if you're looking for a separate machine to work on embroidery in addition to your sewing machine, this would be a great fit. It has an embroidery field of 9.5 by 14 inches, and it comes with a hoop of the same size, and it also comes with a 5 by 7 hoop. It has 494 different built-in stitches and 30 different built-in fonts. But you can always bring in your own designs and your own fonts using the 2 USB ports that are built into the side of the machine. We're going to be talking about 3 different aspects of the Meridian. The first one are the editing features that are built in. The second is the placement features that will help you make sure that you have your embroidery design stitching in exactly the correct place. And the third is the IQ Designer, which is the digitizing software that's built into the Meridian. So let's take a look at the machine and look at those editing features. I'm going to pull up a design that is built in, and when I pull this up, I can change this as I please without having to take it to any type of different software. So the first thing that I'm going to do is resize it, and with the Meridian, I can increase the size 200% and it's going to recalculate my stitches for me. And I can also decrease the size by 60%, and it's going to also recalculate my stitches for me. So I don't have to worry about the pattern changing as the size changes. Now I also have this movement tool built in, and it's very easily accessible. It's on the bottom of most of my editing pages that pop up. And also wherever I move my design on my screen is where it's going to stitch out in my hoop. So I have those two tools for moving the design. The arrows to be a little bit more precise, or you can touch the screen and move it around where you please. The Meridian has a 10.1 inch full color LCD touchscreen. So what this means is I'm going to have a lot of information that the machine is going to give me about the design that I'm building. Right now I can see the size of my total design, where I've rotated it to in my hoop, and also which hoop I need to use in order for the design to stitch out where I have it. Now I can also rotate my design 10 degrees, 1 degree, 90 degrees, or 1/10 of a degree, and then I can reset it back to its original position just with the touch of a button. I can mirror image the design and copy and paste as many as will fit onto the screen. And then I can delete them just as easily. I can put a satin stitch around it if I would like to make a patch, or add a stipple to fill the rest of the hoop around my design. Now, let's jump into some text. With the Meridian, you can add multiple designs to the same project, so you can really customize your work. When I go to add text, we have so many different features. I'm going to type in Smith Family Vacation. And as you can see, with the size of the screen, I have the full alphabet available to me, and it's very easy to navigate. And so we'll add one more line. Because I want this to be underneath the design, I'm going to put it on a separate line. And so now I can customize where I want everything to be, either with those moving tools or with moving it around on the screen with my finger. Now I'm going to go back in and edit. I'm going to change the color of this. So if you're not sure that you prefer the color that is already built in, you can change it to whichever one you like. I'll change that to a green. And once we put our text on the screen, that doesn't mean that what we've put on there is set in stone. We can go back and edit the text quite a bit more. So let's see what all we can do. I can change the font if I decide that I don't like the original font to any of the others that are built in. And I can also array the font around my design, and then I can change the curve of that arc to however I feel looks best. I can increase or decrease the spacing in a line. And then I can change the size. So here when I pull up the size key, it's going to give me the standard large, medium, and small that's built in. I'm going to put that on medium. And then I can actually change each individual letter instead of changing the whole line or the entire word. So I'm going to back up and change the F. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so that it stands out. So now the capital letters really pop in my line of text. And I'm going to do the same thing down here with the word vacation. Now before we move forward, I'm going to delete this off of the screen and I'm going to change the color of the text that we have to something kind of bright. So now that we have our design built, let's talk about the placement features that the Meridian has. As we know, the Solaris has a camera built into it that will allow us to scan our hoop and place our design where we need to in the hoop. And the Meridian has the next best thing. Instead of having a camera built in, it works via an app on your phone and the camera on your phone to take a picture of your hoop so that you can be sure to place your design. So let me show you exactly how that works. I have this little pillow panel hooped up in the 9.5 by 14 hoop, and what I'm going to do is stitch the Smith family vacation here in one of the clouds. So what I need to do is take my hoop and set it down flat, and then I use the app to scan the hoop, and it's going to tell me exactly where to hold my phone so that it can take a picture. And then it just says send to the machine. And there it goes. And the machine has recognized it. So I'm going to put my hoop in. And yes, we will update. So now I can see the pillow panel on my screen and I can move my design exactly where I need it to in order for it to stitch where I want it. So I'm going to size all of this down quite a bit so that it'll fit right there in that cloud. And then since I want to move this all together and make sure that it all stays together in that same location, but just move the whole thing around, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my grouping tool and I can move both of these together. And I can use the arrows here on the screen. And you know what? Maybe we want to move this down to right above the horizon. Maybe that'll look a little bit better. And we'll size it down again. All right, and now we can take a look at what it's going to look like in our hoop. And now we're ready to embroider. And before we embroider, I'm going to use this yellow. I'm going to show you how easy the machine is to thread up, so when you're ready to stitch, you're going to go in no time. So the Meridian has what we call our never miss automatic needle threader. And so all I have to do is put the thread in place and it will thread my needle for me. It's as simple as that. So now that you've seen all of the editing features and the ease of placement that you're going to have using the Meridian, let's talk about the IQ Designer. The IQ Designer is digitizing software that's built into the Meridian, and the best way that I can explain exactly the capability of it is if you talk about photo editing software, then usually we talk about Photoshop, and you can create different things in Photoshop and you can use some existing designs to change and edit in that way. And that's going to be your higher level digitizing software, the most comparable thing to it. The IQ Designer that's built into the Meridian is going to be more like Microsoft Paint, that's been on every Microsoft computer since the invention of computers. And that is going to give you a little bit of creativity so that you can create your own designs, you can bring in pictures and work with them, but you're a little bit more limited. And that's going to be the more basic functions that are in Paint. So as we talk about IQ Designer, we're going to dig into some of the basics that we can do, but we're not going to go into the full details. And those will be taught in a usage class when you purchase the machine. However, just so that you can get an idea of what the Meridian will do for you, let's take a look. So when we go into IQ Designer, we can bring in existing images, or you can scan certain things in with the app that we just saw for placement, but we can also build our own designs. So I'm going to grab a shape, and the way that we work with this is either by changing the line, which is the black line that you see here, or the inside or outside of the shape that I'm working with. So as an example, let's work with the line first. I want that outside line to be in pink, and I want it to be a candle wicking stitch. So I'm going to click that, and that is going to change my outline to a candle wicking stitch when it stitches out. I can also change if I want there to be something inside of my shape or not. Now, when I go down here to my fill properties, I can either just use a fill stitch, a stipple, or I have several different other stitches that I can choose from. And I'm going to choose these bricks. I'm also going to choose a different color. Let's go with, we'll go with that darker color. And then I'm going to put that on the inside. Now, once I have what I know that I want and the shape with the line and the fill exactly where I want, I can click next, and this is going to allow me to preview exactly what it's going to look like when it stitches out. So I've got my candle wicking around, and then I have my bricks. But let's say that I don't want my bricks to be horizontal. I want them to be slanted at an angle. Well, I can go back and I can actually edit all of those things. So here I'm going to change the direction. I'm going to put it at a 30 degree, actually we'll go 45 degree angle. And then I'm going to change the size of the bricks. I want them to be a little bit bigger. I don't want them to be so small and compact. I can change the size. And now let's take a look at what we've got. And so now you can see that the bricks have moved, they've increased in size, and now I'm going to show you some of the features that we can do on the candle wicking stitch, because those feel a little bit tight. So now I'm working with the candle wicking stitch, and I'm going to space those out. And I'm also going to increase the size. So now when we preview the design, you'll see a big difference. Those are spaced out, they're a little bit bigger, and then we have the bricks in the middle. Now, once I'm finished, I can save this to the machine or to my USB that I have plugged in. And when I set this to the embroidery edit screen, I can still change and add to it just like I would a regular design. So let's say that I wanted to put a monogram in there, or I wanted to put someone's initial. Then we can add that just like we would any other design. And we can increase the size of that. And we can also put a stipple around it, change the distance from around that letter. Save it. Now this is just the most basic of functions of what the IQ Designer will do, but it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for creating your own designs, beginning from scratch and making sure that everything is completely custom.